All right, so I'm starting out. There's nobody in here. I didn't tell anybody that I was going to go live. I figured I would start out and practice on my own. Who knows? Maybe somebody will see that I'm live and they'll pop in. Maybe they won't. I don't really care. I just wanted to get on here and discuss how my job search has been going and tell you guys where I'm at with that. And also, just to catch up on some other stuff. There's just been so much going on in the world. I can't imagine why everybody who has something to say isn't listening online to somebody at something. You have to be out here looking for information. You can't listen to the TV. You don't know what's going on. Everything is so expensive. Why is everything so expensive? I can't afford anything anymore. It's starting to get a little scary. I have applied for about 10 more jobs that took it a lot more serious. I started making my resume adaptable to what I was applying for so that, hey, hi, Frankie, how are you? I was just getting on here practicing because this is my gig now, I want to get familiar with my community. I got enough people in here and there's so much going on in the world right now, It's crazy. But as I was saying, I applied for like 10 jobs this week and I updated my resume so it looks like I'm serious. I want to work online. Hi, modus operandi. How are you? It's good to see you. What's going on with you? You just hanging out? I was getting on here, getting more familiar with my live. I figured I would update you guys on my job search. I also wanted to see what's going on with people around the world. I got enough people on here that we can get connected and see what's going on where you guys are. I know things are really weird where I am right now. Everybody's acting so strange. Everybody's in a strange mood and everybody's in such a hurry to get nowhere. Nobody's got any money, so everybody's bitching about that. I haven't had any more interview invites. And no, don't tell me to go work at Walmart or Burger King or McDonald's. First of all, I am confident 100% that I have a scarlet letter where I live. And I know everybody says move. That's not an option right now either. Anyway, I am very resilient, so I will find something. My car drives good enough to do deliveries for a little while, so I don't know. What are you guys doing? Frankie, do you do anything besides this? I mean, I know you got a huge following and you really deliver a lot of news and you're right on top of things, but do you do anything outside of YouTube and social media? I see a lot of people really, making it, doing the news. I'm afraid to do the news because the kind of news I'll cover, I feel like it will get me banned. They don't want us talking about the stuff that I'm watching, listening to. I don't know. I actually wanted to also talk about to see where people are at in their lives. Do you guys live with your families? Is anybody living with their family? Just YouTube, huh? Just YouTube? You're not making rent anymore. Yeah, I know how that goes. When I started Ubering, I was making $1,200 a week, which is really good for where I live. I started feeling really good about it, so I kicked my Dunkin' Donuts gig, which I did because I had to do anyway. It just wasn't fitting me anymore. But, hey. I would love to jump on your show because then you could kickstart the things I would like to talk about, I have this really crazy life. So, I mean, that alone could have me talking for a whole show if I was to be interviewed by the right person. I'm in a situation where at this point, I have like family members who are stalking me. So I thought this was a good way to bring them up to speed with where I'm at in life, a little bit nutty. my email. You know what? I'll put it right here because oh, damn it. All right. I think that's it's not a comma though. Frankie, it's a it's dot. I put a comma. I'm tired. What was I doing? I had like this whole thing I was gonna do like a real show, you know, talk about real things. And then I got all tied up with some stuff. And I don't know what I want to do. Did you get that? I'm gonna fix it. I'll fix it. Like, what do you guys think about all this Russell Brand stuff? I'm thinking, you know, where's Julian Assange? Does anybody know where Julian Assange is? How come nobody's talking about all that stuff anymore? There's some guy on here that says he's real JFK Jr. on TikTok. Yeah, it's just TikTok is crazy. Are you guys going on TikTok? I'm trying to get I think I need like 300 more people, and then I can go live on TikTok, and then I can sell my stuff on TikTok, and I would like to do that because you don't have to pay anything on there for that. God, I have to get better glasses. Where's this? I'm gonna erase that. All right. That's right there. Hey, so hi, God. God's absolutely good. I agree with you there. I was just getting on here to get familiar with my community. I have so many people on there, and I promised a long time ago that I would get on here and I would tell my life story and get some insight from other people to see if there's other people around. I mean, you know, anyway, so I was practicing. I got on and I wanted to update you guys on my job search. A lot of you know that I am looking for a job online. I worked remote for years. I was working remote before remote was a thing. I was running a call center from my living room, and the call center was on St. Lucia, and it was working really well. We were managing all the technicians for the East Coast doing satellite installation for DirecTV. I was the liaison between all of our contractors and the technicians and the customers and the little call center. It was working great. I did really well. I can multitask very well. But anyway, I had a technician steal $13,000 worth of equipment from me. And the company that I was getting my equipment from, they were really trying to run me out anyway, because it was me and another woman that we left a call center here in our town. It closed down. It closed down because I sued them. And I won. I didn't do a very good job, though. I should have sued them for a lot more money, but I have too much integrity. So anyway, we ran this call center out of my house for years. So, I mean, I can do anything for anyone. I just can't find anything. Everything that I'm finding is recruiters. Like, how do you become a recruiter? Because that's where the scheme is, you know, helping other people find jobs. It's so stupid. You know, there's no jobs to find. So, you know, everybody's just, hi, We Free, how are you? How are you doing? I was just telling these guys that I'm fishing, really. I'm fishing for a job. I want to do a job online. I just want to get up in the morning and start the coffee and sit down and type or an email and fax or whatever the heck I need to do. I want to work for somebody who doesn't want to do their admin work or send out emails and make phone calls. Right now I'm working for Uber and DoorDash. I have an Instacart account, but they aren't worth my time. But my car, so 2 weeks ago, I was picking up my last ride of the day. I was really happy. I did really well that day. And the people I picked up were they beat out the weight capacity of my car. I mean, I didn't know this even existed. And as soon as I looked at them, I just knew when they got in the car, something bad was going to happen because my car is a 2015. Anyway, we got 50 yards from where I picked them up from, and the car started going. And I was like, oh my God, there's something wrong with the car. And so I started shifting it. And anyway, I got them to where they were going, which was really stupid. I should have told them to get out. But, I have like 4.9 stars with Uber, and I've done like 900 rides. So I was trying to keep my stats up. So I took them where they needed to go. And the lady had the audacity to say to me when we got to the Sam's Club that I was driving them to, she had the audacity to say to me, as she couldn't get out, she couldn't fit in the car, and nor could she get out. She had a really hard time getting out. And as she got out, she said, you really better have that looked at. They don't have a car. I almost am positive because they don't keep them for very long, But I've applied for everything you can think of. I've had a bunch of interviews, and they've all been scams. Everybody wants me to pay for something. I don't want to sell insurance. I don't want to pay to have to sell insurance. I don't want to pay New York State for a job. It's all just so ridiculous. Everybody's just scamming each other. The America I knew, it's gone. And I know there's a couple new people in here now. I will not work at a fast food restaurant. I'm sorry. I won't do it. Anyway, even if I applied, I go to these interviews and they're like, you're completely overqualified for this. Why are you even here? I had to beg for my job at Dunkin' Donuts, and I worked there for 6 years, but I had to beg because they said you are too overqualified, and I am. I went to college. I've had a career. I've worked in customer service for 17 years, People don't want to hire me because then they feel like I'm competing, for their managerial jobs. And I don't want to take your job. I just want a paycheck and go home and feed my dogs and relax after a long day, I do look at it like that. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I worked at Dunkin' Donuts for 6 years. And I'm not too good to do anything, but it's just a matter of I've been here so long. I live in a really small area, and I feel like I'm blacklisted. I don't know why, but I've had like so many like situations where this is the best gig I'm ever going to do. I'm almost got my foot in the door, and then they're like, oh, something came up. And, this person beat you. And I think they're finding out that I sued DirecTV. So, and I didn't actually sue DirecTV directly. I sued the contractor, the subcontractor, the mother or sister subcontractor of their installations here on the East Coast. And that did me wrong. I should have sued them for $500,000 so I wouldn't be in this position now, but I didn't. I told them all I wanted was a year's salary and a public apology for what they did to me. And I got it. It was in the paper. I got everything I wanted. He apologized, and we all walked away, and they went out of business and liquidated. And at the very end, there was a whole bunch of other women that jumped onto my lawsuit. So that even cut my lawsuit down even further because it didn't start out as a class action lawsuit. In fact, I had to go to a private lawyer because the Civil Rights Department wanted to defend this man. And I had proof. I had lots and lots of proof. Notebook binders because it took me 3 years. And while I was suing these people, I went to work every day. I was the operation manager. I was the second highest position above everybody in the call center. And the people below me were still in charge of me because they were family members to the owner of the company. And it was just a big soap opera mess. And I went to work every day, looked my best, did my best. I went to Yonkers once every 2 weeks to deal with our subcontracting meetings. I did everything I was supposed to. I turned in all my work. I did all of the payroll. I had somebody else doing everything with me too. But I was the assistant to the operations manager. And it didn't pay off because where I live, just everybody seems to know, and they ask. I mean, they ask, what happened with DirecTV? So anyway, that's done. I am actually working on something. My guy has designed these guitar picks that are ergonomically correct guitar picks, and I don't have any around me right now, but I'm trying to find a way to get these things, because neither one of us has any brains. I'm going to show you guys. So like I said, neither one of us have any brains put together. And I mean, the older we get, the dumber we're getting. I have no problem admitting that. But he is a phenomenal guitar player, and if it was different times, he would be famous. I'm sure of it. I'm positive of it. But he always would like rip off pieces of cardboard or find these little pieces of plastic, and he always shaped these guitar picks in these really neat ways. And like Fender and everybody, they make guitar picks and they're just shaped like a V, just the standard V. These guitar picks that he designed, he uses recycled plastic, and he uses the golden ratio in order to make sure that they are perfected. Everyone is hand carved, and he's got them perfected. But I mean, this is the way they look. They are literally little tiny pieces of old credit cards. But they've got, I think there's like 8 different shapes he's got going on, and they have this grip. A lot of people say that when they play guitar, they drop them. And so anyway, these are shaped really cool, and he designed his little logo, and it's just, he's got a cute thing going on. I mean, it's actually very professional as far as musicians go. And I had a friend of mine who was supposed to be a driver for Motley Crue a few weeks ago. They were coming to Syracuse, and we were so excited that he was going to see, I think he was going to have Tommy Lee in the car, which, I know that he isn't a guitar player, but, to be able to pass our guitar picks on to a band like Motley Crue, we were really happy. Anyway, they had enough drivers and he didn't end up going, so they didn't end up getting them. And anyway, so we have that to sell. And then, I mean, I have a lot of art. I'm a painter. I do a lot of art. I haven't painted in a long time because, my self-esteem has gone right downhill. Working at Dunkin' Donuts for 6 years, I sort of just got sucked in. And I love driving. I love being a driver, but I can't seem to keep my car on the road. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys, coming in here and listen to me jibber jabber. I am trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself. I just turned 50 this year, and I feel like I'm a kid. Everything is so new. I can't even keep up with everything or anything. Can't keep up with any of it. Where are you guys? And what are you guys doing? Well, that's really encouraging. I appreciate you saying that, We Free. I'm really trying. I don't know what to do because this new world is just hard. It's hard. I used to be able to just, my dad used to say, find a job, pound the pavement, and you'd go out and you'd have your little book and your pen and you'd sit down and you fill out their little application. And I mean, we were still filling out paper applications when I started working at Dunkin' Donuts. But within 8 months of me working there, I started in 2016, literally halfway through 2016. Everybody got rid of paper applications. You could not apply for a job. And if you didn't have access to the internet, and I live in like the sticks kind of, like I live in a little city, but I live in the Twilight Zone. And nobody has, you have to go to the library if you don't have access to the computer to apply for a job. It's so silly. I'm on the bottom rung. I'm starting on the bottom rung. What do you do? What do you do? I have no problem with it, though. I feel better inside of my heart than I ever have. I don't care what people think anymore. I used to care what people think about everything. And, when you care about what people think, it really holds you back. I didn't do a lot of things because I cared about what people think. I don't care what people think anymore. And like I was saying, right now, I'm trying to get followers on my TikTok because I know that on my TikTok, I can say a lot more stuff that I want to say. Like I really have a lot to say about Hillary Clinton and what she's done to New York and my personal experience with her. um, what I have watched, you guys, they have destroyed New York State. They've destroyed it. And everything is being based on that little 14-mile strip of New York. New York is huge. People in the world think New York is New York City. It is not New York City. New York is 350 miles wide, 350 miles that way. And it's just, there's a lot more to New York than that little strip. And this just makes me so angry. All our laws are based on everybody in New York City. We don't know where we live. Nobody follows any of that. Like when they were mandating all that craziness, it's like we live in this little bubble. And it's like we're watching from my little town what's going on, and we only participate if we're really forced to. And I'm scared. This Kathy Hochul lady, she is insane, absolutely cuckoo. I am afraid of Kathy Hochul, of what she's going to do to New York State, because I know that she is not new. If there are any New Yorkers watch this, Kathy Hochul is not new. She sat right next to Andrew Cuomo for 12 years. 12 years she sat next to that man, listening to him, elbowing him, keeping up all his things. And she was a hard part of his administration. So for her to come into this state and act like she's new, she's not. She's got ulterior motive, and she works for people who don't give two shits about New York. So if I had better vernacular and more experience in politics, I would be running against these people. I have the tenacity. I'll take them on, but I'll start sounding like a street punk quicker than, and that doesn't work in politics. You've got to be all trimmed and perfect and prepped and I'm too wacky for that. If I could run against Kathy Hochul from my YouTube, I would like to run against Kathy Hochul. I would let everybody know that I would do everything I can to bring back our dairy industry, because where I live, we had a major hub for the dairy industry in the country. And just overnight, it was like Hillary Clinton came into the state and Tyson left, and so we got rid of all of our farms, and our milk left, and so now we're getting our milk shipped in from California. No, we still get milk from upstate, but it's just we lost everything. They took everything from us because they want to run everyone out of here, because the history where I am, it's real deep and it's real serious. Where I live, the mother was born. And I don't know if you guys know what mother is, but mother is the main database for IBM. She was born a couple blocks from me. She's probably still there. Who knows? But IBM was born right here. Martin Link. There's just all these corporations that are right here that make a lot of stuff. And when the Depression was happening in New York City and all around New York State, where I live, they were thriving like you wouldn't believe. Like during that war, this part of New York was thriving. So they don't want people to know that. So anyway, there's enough people in here at this point. When I met Hillary Clinton, I was a little girl. I was pregnant. I was just married. We were getting ready to have our first child. It was in the early 90s. And my husband's father was the vice president of the AFL-CIO. And if you don't know what that is, they oversee the unions in the country, like the carpenters union and the welders union and the laborers union. And they didn't really oversee the Teamsters. The Teamsters are basically on their own. And listen, if I'm stepping out of, my place and talking about things that I don't know, I fully admit that. Okay. I only know what I was able to observe as a 23-year-old, fresh out of high school, wet behind the ears as far as this stuff is concerned, knew nothing about any of that. But Hillary and Bill Clinton came into town because I'm in the very middle of New York. And so to win this area in order to get that junior seat, the junior senator seat she wanted, she had to do a lot of, butt kissing. So anyway, and remember, pre 9/11, bad things hadn't happened in New York yet. It was very different. So anyway, so they came here and we gave them a lobster steak dinner, and we acted like they were royals. And, I basically sat at a little table. It was like being at a wedding reception. That's what it was like. It was like a wedding reception set up like that. And all of the union heads sat up there and they gave away awards, and, they kissed their butts and they said all this cool shit they were going to do. Excuse my French or English. That's English. That nowadays you can't call it French. It's not really French. I didn't mean that. I'm partly French. So anyway, they had promised that they were going to bring clean, scientifically safe fracking to our area. And everybody was all about it. It sounded great, fracking, free energy, whatever, yahoo. Well, anyway, Hillary left. She won the junior senator seat. And within 3 years of her being here, the building that we fed them at, they had it knocked down. They had it knocked down and it became a Walmart parking lot. Okay. That's what they did for us. They brought us 2 Walmarts. And the unions around here really fought that. They stood in front of the buildings that where Walmart is now, because it used to be this little strip mall, but now it's like 10 miles of strip mall. Thanks, Hillary. But anyway, they took down our museum. Where I live, we used to be in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the most carousels in the world. And tourists used to come from all over back in the early part of the, early turn of the century. I mean, I'm talking, 1900s, to 1935, old times. We were this mecca. Like if you came to New York for the World's Fair, then you had to ride the train and come up to Broome County to see all of our carousels. And then people would go all around and ride the carousels. So anyway, thanks, Hillary, for getting rid of the Carousel Museum. You did us well, okay? There was this old lady I used to buy my patchouli from. Patchouli is this essential oil. Most people know what patchouli is these days, but that's how I smell. I smell like patchouli. My house stinks like patchouli. I smell like patchouli. All my art smells like patchouli. If I give you something, it's probably going to smell like patchouli. Anyway, I really hate Hillary Clinton. I am working on that. I feel bad for her. I don't even know if that's her anymore. To be perfectly honest with you, the woman that I met was a person, and the person that was running for president against Donald Trump that I was watching on TV seemed like an entirely different person. So I don't know. I don't know. One thing I can tell you guys is I look as greasy as Hillary Clinton today. I really didn't know I was going to do this. But Shams, my very favorite person in the whole world who talked me into doing this, I really would like to support her and get more people to go and watch her show and support her channel. Because when I started on YouTube, she had a lot of people. And hey, stop it! And she got really screwed over by people who said they were her friends, and it was just wrong. And I don't really want to get into that, but Shams talked me into doing this, and I actually would like to go further with it on TikTok. I don't know if any of you guys have seen my TikTok channel, but I'm on TikTok too, and I really can't use it from my Chromebook. But if you're on TikTok, please follow me, because as soon as I have 1,000 people following me, I can go live. And then when I can go live, maybe I can make a little money. My dog is saying hi. So, well, there's a lot of people here. Why don't you guys tell me about yourselves? Like, the buildings with no windows in New York City. So, there's something else, you guys. My dad worked in the World Trade Centers for 35 years. I spent a lot of time in those buildings. Hey, stop. Quiet. They're actually playing and they're fighting over a toy. I have a couple dogs. So anyway, the building in New York City with no windows. I believe that building belongs to AT&T. I don't know what AT&T is anymore. It's a communications building. My dad said that they keep lots of very important like electrical stuff. My dad was a nuclear engineer. And he ran a company in the World Trade Center on the 98th floor for 30 plus years. I used to watch the 4th of July. I used to watch the 4th of July from my dad's office window on the 98th floor in Tower 2. And I loved going there. He, when you would go to work with your parents' day, I would go to work with my dad. And I don't know. It never seemed like there was anybody in his office, but there were a lot of cubicles. This is very, I loved it. So I would go in there and sit in some secretary's desk and pretend like I was answering the phone. And I mean, I was 9 years old, so 10, 11. But those were good times. New York is not like it used to be. We were hijacked. The people in New York that are in seats of great leadership, I don't care what anybody says. The majority of those seats were hijacked. Okay. And that happened a long time ago, even if I'm not saying votes are rigged or anything like that. I just mean the way that people think. Okay. They've been programmed into this wrong mindset that they're better than us. And that is just not true. Okay. I know for a fact that I am as smart as Kamala Harris. That's pathetic, but I know it's true. Okay. I can carry a conversation on longer and better than she can. I have a hard time getting started. And sometimes I need a script to start and, I need a better format. And I know you can see the blue in my glasses. So I don't really have the most ideal, perfect professional setup. But I'll tell you what, I could debate her. I would debate her, bring her on, at least about New York. Okay. And I know that Kamala Harris when I first met Kamala Harris, I actually never met her, but when she first came onto the scene, I was being told by the papers and things that she was an Indian. I thought she was Indian. Okay. Anyway, she fit in with whatever crowd fit. And I don't like that. Okay. Those people are not better than us. They have no business stealing all the money, all the properties. Okay. Wells Fargo and HUD came into my town 30 years ago and talked all the lower middle class people into taking out these mortgages. Okay. And so all the houses in my town, we got so many homeless people. I got people sleeping down next to the river with houses just completely empty houses with homeless people. It makes no sense, New York. No sense. Okay. Sometimes I feel like kicking those doors in and telling those people, get inside. It's cold out there. The people who own these properties, they don't even live around here. They all live in Pennsylvania or Staten Island. They don't even live in the area. So the lawns don't get mowed. The houses don't get fixed after the acid rain has been here for 20 years. It's just incredible. But so, like I said, IBM was born here. There's so much here. I am in the twilight zone. Like, I've been here for 32 years. My husband was from here. He was from a couple towns over. But I live where Rod Serling, who wrote The Twilight Zone and was inspired, all his inspiration came from right here where I am. I haven't been able to get out of here since I got here. I moved away once. I said twice, but I moved away once. I was almost supposed to move away another time. But my kid's here. I love people here. My family's here. I've had my sister-in-law say, well, if you don't like it so much, why don't you just get out of there and stop complaining? Well, I'm complaining because all the businesses that used to be here, that should still be here, that are just businesses, are just buildings that are just dilapidated and falling apart. Brick, is turning to dust. These buildings, IBM, they haven't knocked down any of those buildings. They intend on it. Somebody told me, and this person signed an NDA, but I didn't. I don't have any reason to hide it. But he told me that they intend on opening as soon as they do whatever they're going to do, which I don't know what they're going to do, but apparently they're going to do something. But they're going to do something that's going to make everybody step in line. So anyway, they're going to put a battery factory here. Now, originally it was going to be an incineration factory. which I'm sure is going to probably still come. But he said, oh, no, 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 it's not the incinerator plant. We're actually going to be building the batteries that go at the bottom of the electric cars. That's so dangerous, I mean, highly toxic, I'm sure. And they don't care about that. I live in an IBM house. There is a pump in my basement to pump the toxins from the ground out of the house. But, I have really cheap rent. And it's not really cheap. It was when I first moved here because I rented it from somebody from church. And then it got too bad for him here. And he said, Shaw, I'm going to sell it. I'm sorry. I'll make sure that the new owner understands your circumstance, because I'm a contract worker. And so, sometimes I'm, a month or two late on my rent, and I've always paid my rent though. And so anyway, he said, I'll make sure that the landlord understands. Sometimes the landlord gets $3,000 from me at once, but he always gets paid. And it worked out well for me. And so anyway, he sold. So now I'm here, and I've been trying to be very good about not doing that. Rent comes first. My rent gets paid before I eat. Chemical clouds are everywhere here, every day, all the time. All the time. All the time. I have videos down below of the chemtrails that are up in the sky. And I don't care what anybody says. That stuff. I know that some days it smells funny. I get headaches. My fingernails are always peeling. Like I can't get them to stop peeling. I feel like, like maybe I'm wrong, but like I've had somebody say it's radiation poisoning, like slow radiation poisoning. And it probably is, because that's going to be everywhere where we have these plants and all this stuff we're making. Because you know what? They didn't care. It's like the end of Poltergeist. They built the houses on the dead bodies and never bothered to move the dead bodies, So of course they're going to be mad. Of course Earth is going to get angry that they dumped toxins into the Susquehanna River for 35 years. Of course it's going to be green now. And all the fish that are in there can only live there if they're just mutated, strange things that eat all the fish that we should be eating. I don't know. So anyway, there's a couple people in here. I was talking about how I am trying to find a job, somebody to give me a job on the internet. Like if you need an admin, if you're a YouTuber and you need help, or a social media person and you need help, I don't need to get paid a lot. I'm not looking for a pension and a 401k. I just want a freaking paycheck. And I don't want to have to drive. I want to spend my winter sitting back here. My sister got a really good gig and she deserved it. She worked her butt off. She's so beautiful and I'm so proud of her. And I don't want to talk too much about her because, her job, she's got like, she's got, it's private, so, but I'm so proud of her. But she's someone else, I mean, what she should be doing, she can't do. And the only reason she can't do it is because of the way that the economy is right now. And what the economy is you make just enough to barely get by, and everything else will be siphoned off and put into their pockets so they can build walls around themselves. You remember when Nancy Pelosi got on TV and was bragging about in her second house, in her fourth refrigerator, that she keeps a whole drawer full of chocolate ice cream for her and her husband and her daughter, Paul Pelosi. You guys remember all that stuff? How come we're not talking about that stuff anymore? Okay? How come the media is allowed to just tell us these things, and then as soon as it becomes evident that these people are up to no good, immediately they stop talking about them? That is what I have a problem with. That's why I'm probably having a midlife crisis. I'm sorry. I am because, I'm unemployed. So obviously that would be a little bit of a midlife crisis. I'm not totally unemployed. I have Uber and DoorDash, but yesterday I made $16. Oh my God. And it takes so much, I go to Burger King. I'm waiting for 45 minutes for a freaking Whopper that I have to deliver to somebody who should probably be cooking for themselves. They're wasting all that money on me and that and them. And Uber is making more money. I know that for a fact. Okay. They're making more money than me. Okay. I've had riders just come right out and tell me what they paid Uber because they can't help themselves because they're angry too. Ugh, I look so terrible. I can't believe I'm on here talking to you guys. And I can't believe you're sticking it out with me for so long. I have to practice though. I have to figure something out. I won't lie. I wanted to be Megyn Kelly. I watched her, In fact, I don't know why I thought she was younger than me. I mean, older than me, but she's not. She's younger than me. Well, she's been on TV for so long, though, I wanted to be Connie Chung, okay? You know why Connie Chung is gone, right? Connie Chung is gone because she was a truth teller. That's why Connie Chung got kicked, because Ted Turner didn't like her telling her truth. Don't listen to all of them. They're all full of shit. And I'm going to tell you guys that are in here right now, I don't believe a word of what's going on with Russell Brand. Not a freaking word of it. Not a word of it. Personally, I think he's in on it. I think he's in on it, and he's helping them to distract all of us, where they just keep making us sicker and sicker, take more of our jobs out of the country. I'm having a hard time finding a job because they outsourced everything. And they have some poor person in some third world country doing a job that I should be doing. Okay. They're not even that they forcing them, training them. They're sitting there, some of them for 25 hours, which doesn't even exist. Yeah, I know. But they're sitting there. They're practically not allowed to get up to go to the bathroom and just all kinds of sick shit. Excuse my language. I said it again. But, I was in 2012, I was doing a lot of research on this stuff. So, I've been watching this stuff roll out right in front of me since 2012. That shit with the Bernstein Bears, which is not Bernstein. I know they changed it to change it from what it exemplified. Okay. And whatever. I know they're messing with the Wayback Machine. And so that's why I want to get on here, because I want to get on here and I want to make sure that at least I am recording what I'm watching happening, because there's less and less and less of my generation. Like Gen X is disappearing very fast. And soon I'm going to be the history book. And right now, what I have inside of me and what I've experienced and what I remember and what I have seen, I am my own source. They can say whatever they want. I don't need a source. And let me tell you, Snopes is a paid propaganda machine. All those fact checkers, they're bullshit. Okay. All they're doing is they're checking facts to make sure that they align with whatever agenda they have at the moment. And it infuriates me because you know what? It plays a big part with the situation that I'm in right now. Okay. I should own my home, be more worried about working towards retirement than here at 50 years old, like it is when I was 20 all over again. Okay, that's someone's fault, and it's not mine, because there's thousands of me. Okay, thousands. And everybody is afraid to speak up, or they don't know how to speak up. So, I'm trying to mold myself so that I can speak up, because I can be just as influential as Megyn Kelly. Okay, I can do up my hair and put on my makeup and look all hot and show my shit and do all that same stuff. But somebody needs to start telling the truth. And all the jobs where I am are gone. And I'm sick and tired of everybody's advice being just go get whatever you can. Okay? No, because you know why? Because it's letting them off. All right? It's letting them off. I don't care. I don't care. That's like what I said. Well, I was shadow banned. Let me tell you guys, I got shadow banned years ago by Google Plus, because I was doing this on Google Plus long before YouTube was even around. Okay. And I'm not trying to hurt anyone. All I want is for people to understand that the American citizens are not responsible for the bullshit that's happening. Okay. It's not our fault. And most of us taxpayers, okay, most of us funding a lot of stuff that's going on, we're not deciding that stuff. We're not voting on it. All those bills, all those executive orders, we didn't decide any of that. None of it. So I don't have to comply. And so anyway, like I was saying, like you're saying, I was shadow banned a long time ago, because I speak the truth. And because I try to bring together more people that are speaking the truth so that at the very least we can start shaking something, start rocking something up a little bit. And so for right now, I'm starting with New York, with my town, and with the fact that they outsourced everything. Okay? Everything. Except for McDonald's and Uber, because and the funniest thing is when that lockdown happened, that bullshit communist agenda, okay? Because masks don't work. Sorry, YouTube. You know why? Because I got COVID, all right? With my mask on, working at my essential job, pouring coffee. What kind of sense does that make? How is making donuts and pouring coffee essential? And why is it that all our local nurses got fired and they brought in nurses from another state? Okay. How does that work out? They're paying out of town nurses and home health care workers 3 times what our local women and men were getting. How does that make any sense? Huh? That is what makes me mad. And I'm watching it happen still. There are ads all over the place. They're trying to get nurses to come in. So we know they're up to something. Okay. All these people got fired because of that thing. Okay. They all got fired because of that thing. And you know what? Every single one of them that got fired where I am, it was within weeks. They were getting phone calls. Please, please come back. We can't handle it. Everything's falling apart. We need you. Okay. And the ones that did what they were supposed to do, they did it the whole time, not feeling good and afraid to say something. Everyone is afraid to say they don't feel good. That's sick. And when you can't even go to the doctor and get help, I know that for a fact because I had the experience long before they brought that thing along. I was involved the original, okay? And I was sick for years and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. They cut my stomach open, okay, to do an exploratory surgery to figure out what was wrong with me. Now I know what was wrong with me. And you know what? I'm pissed at you. Ooh, I don't want to say their name because I know it'll get me in trouble. Because they're in charge of everything right now. Their name is all over everything right now. Like, it's crazy when they're like, oh, do this, do that, do this and that. But guess what? Funded by. It's insane. It's like, I've been convinced for a little while that we morphed into a different universe. And, my family didn't go. My family are the smartest people in the world. All 3 of my brothers went to an Ivy League college. Like I told you, my dad is an engineer, a high-level engineer. And my mom is in psychiatry. So, everybody's everybody is against me. And I'm cut off. I'm 3 hours away from my family. They've been against me for a very long time. Because I don't think like they do. We don't think the same. And, and when I talk around them, they are so smart that I feel so little. I feel so small. Like I have family who are on the 9/11 commission. Okay. Get those ironies. Okay. The whole thing is a big freaking circle jerk. What's happening? I know what's happening, and I don't know why God is putting me right smack in the middle of it so I can watch it all around me. And I'm barely hanging on. It's like being on the side of a 6-foot pool and you don't know how to swim and you're hanging on the edge and you can see your parent from really far away, but they're too busy smoking and talking to some good-looking dude or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel. I fixed my resume today to make it look simpler. But it looks crazy because, it goes from Uber driver to running your own company to Dunkin' Donuts to operations manager. I mean, it's just so like all over the place. But I mean, I've worked for every scam that's come to town. Okay. I work for Telespectrum. I work for Synergy. I work for Dial America. I was working for AmeriQuest. They all came to my town. Every single one of them. It was like a circus. Like a circus would come into town 2 to 4 years. They set up a call center. They hire all the hardest workers you can imagine. And people would be devoted. I mean, man, they'd be there sleeping on the floor to get on the phone and sell some Columbia house or, sell. I remember we were selling ID callers before ID callers were even a thing. And we were in there at 11 o'clock at night calling, California, because California's time is different, and we were in there 7 days a week, and just, I worked for all those companies, every single one of them. And almost all of them, how I ended up having to get another job was there was a sticker on the door that said, "Sorry, we'll send you your check." And there ain't one person in my town that did the same thing. They can't say they experienced the same thing. Anyway, you guys, I feel like I just look funny today. And I really do. I want to be Megyn Kelly. Okay. I want to be, what's her name? Meghan Markle. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be married to some stuffy old prince, but you know what? I wanted to be Meghan Markle, but I was afraid to do anything. Because I went through foster care and because I had a really hard time. Okay. I was afraid to do anything because everybody bullied me. So I'll get on here and stay on here with nobody in here. And I don't care any bullies anymore. And after I get a big enough following, I'd actually like to call some people out. Okay. And I know that's hateful and mean, but you know what? They shouldn't get away with the things they get away with. That's all. Well, I really appreciate you, Weefree, because you've been really loyal to me. Modus operandi. You and I don't know if you realize it, but you and I have been following each other for years. Years. I mean, we've been together in this for a long time. In fact, I feel like you came over to YouTube from Google Plus with me. I could be wrong, but I feel that way. And speaking of that, okay, I have another YouTube, and on that YouTube is where I got banned from. And okay, on my other YouTube, my name is Michelle Tennant, but YouTube won't allow me in that account anymore. Okay, I've tried everything to get into that account. Mika is my nickname. It goes on my art, and it was a way for me to be discreet because I went through the system and I didn't want to be in the system. I don't know if you've ever been in the system, but if you've been in the system, it's really hard to escape. It follows you everywhere you go. Okay. And it will destroy your life if you don't get it out of your life. And I started in the system at 5. And part of the reason why I'm discussing this right now at this moment is because my mom and we got reconnected. I got taken away when I was 5 years old. And me and my mom have been in touch with each other for years, but it's all been based on a lie. It's been based on a lie, and I have been letting her get away with it, letting her. And so anyway, I could walk out of my house tonight and get hit by a bus or something can happen to me, and I'll die letting her think that she won. And my truth is true. And I know she's going to watch this, and my truth is true. Would you guys keep listening to me if I keep doing this? Because even if just 9 people came on here every day, I love it. Will you listen to me tell you the news? Will you listen to me read all this stuff that I wrote that happened to us, that we've all experienced? Huh? Weefree, were you on Google Plus? Oh, wait, I don't mean to change the subject, but there was a friend that I had on Google Plus, and his name on Google Plus was Parkbench, okay? And he lived in California, and I lost track of him because they cut me off and they wouldn't let me in. And him and his wife, they were some of the most decent people. And, I don't want to sound pathetic, but, they kept me from taking my own life. crazy things. And it's just, I would do anything to get in touch with those people again. But anyway, they went by park bench. It sucks that we really need to be better about when we start connecting. We need to be better about it. We do. Claire, hi, sweetheart. How are you? I'm just in here bleeding my soul out because I spent all day before Shanta's show applying for jobs. I changed my resume up. I haven't gotten any callbacks or any responses. And I just want somebody to give me something easy to do, It really doesn't have to be easy. I'm good at multitasking. It's just, I can't afford anything more. My dogs are hungry, and I think I have $100 to my name. So I'm going to go spend it on dog food. And then I'll make more. Like I said, yesterday I made $16 on Uber, because what is happening around here is everything is being pillaged. It's all being pillaged. How can I go from making $1,200 a week to all of a sudden all my rides are $4 and $5? It doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden I have to work 8 hours to make $100. That's crazy. Okay. I mean, I know that sounds like that's perfect, and I'm perfectly happy with that. And I wish that's what I was making, but I'm not even making that now because those people broke my car. Ugh. And, I used to have a savings account. I used to save money. I used to have money saved, but you can't save. You can't. You can't. I'm living on ice cream. I'm 50 years old and I'm living on ice cream. I want to send my girlfriend money when she needs it so bad, but I don't have it. And I know she feels the same way about me, and it's just pathetic. So I'm going to come on here and I'm going to try to be a newscaster. Okay, I'm going to come on here until they shut me out, which, Claire, I said some stuff before you got in here, and they probably are going to shut me out. But maybe they won't. Maybe this is a turning point. Maybe this is the time that I'll be allowed to say that I was trafficked when I was a little girl. And I'm not going to cry about it anymore because it's not worth it. But it's kept me handicapped. Let me breathe. No. Okay. And my mother doesn't understand how it works. Okay. When CPS takes a child away and puts them in a place that's worse, that's called child trafficking. I was lucky. Okay. I was lucky. I didn't go too many bad places, because my third place, they decided that they would keep me. But they don't realize, that was only 8 years. I didn't get any therapy. Shit, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to shut this down because I have too many people in here giving me their attention, and I appreciate it. And I'm not going to go off the deep end, and I'm not going to erase this because this is my first one. My first real one. I'm tired of watching all these people spend all this money all over the country frivolously, living like they're living, and then acting like the people in Kensington are doing that because they want to. Most of the people that are on drugs right now, and I'm not, but I'm watching what it's doing to our country, and it's scary. It is very scary. Okay? I have lost so many friends. And the reason why they died was not because they were junkies and drug addicts, but because they went to the doctor. And the doctor got them hooked on Vicodin, and then they gave them Oxycontin, and then and they were giving this stuff out. The world doesn't even realize they were just handing this stuff out to people like candy. I dealt with it. I did. But you know what? It didn't beat me. It didn't beat me like it did other people, because I'm strong. I'm strong. Because I don't want to die like that. And because I feel like I'm supposed to do something to help change it, because I watched it happen. It's a chemical war. Our people, your family members, they're not junkies. They're being poisoned. Do you understand when they're standing out there looking so stupid and foolish that they are being
poisoned and nobody cares. They're all worried about all these programs. You know what? Programs are just trafficking. It's human trafficking. I'm sorry that those people will lose their jobs when the world finds out that these are victims of chemical warfare. It's not drug addicts. I'm tired of that, okay? There were heroin addicts, but they're not left anymore. There's none left. Because heroin addicts got clean and they got out of it because they knew better. This is another whole ballgame, guys. Another whole ballgame, and it's in every state. And it's in every family. And you know what? Narcan doesn't work anymore because it's a chemical war. They want them dead. And you know why they want them dead? Because they were the most creative. They were the ones who could change the world. They knew that. They knew it. They knew it. They knew it. And it hurts me so bad. I had my friend die in a house. The house exploded above him because the people he was living with, they were really stupid, okay? They were just stupid, doing stupid shit. And he died in the basement. He was sleeping in their basement. He was the sweetest person in the world. And he didn't have kids. He didn't even get to live. You know? That was the beginning of the chemical war, all right? When they started putting the recipe to make speed all over the place, they knew what they were doing, guys. Okay? The Shekel family shouldn't get off. They knew what they were doing to our country. I lost my husband. I lost so many of my friends. I have terrible PTSD from it. And I'm done, okay? I didn't mean to do this. I really didn't. But I'm scared of the world, of the state that it's in. I don't want to comply anymore. I just want to get a job in an office where everybody's happy and we go to lunch and we go outside and the sky looks normal and, you know, we have our birthdays and, you know, we go to the park on the weekends and we go to the vacation on the summer holidays. I don't want to be a drone. I really don't. I don't want to be a drone. I've been a drone for a very long time. I've been afraid to speak out. When I was going to school, I wanted to try out for the plays. I wanted to be something. But I was afraid too. I was so bullied because I lived with Chinese people and I couldn't when you're little, you can't explain to people what's going on, you know? You can't say I have a week to find a job now. I don't want to keep going through this anymore. I want to start telling on those motherfuckers. I want my TikTok to grow. And I want to make something of myself. And I want the world to know who I am. Do you understand? I want the world to know who I am. I am that little girl. They got abandoned in the street. I got left. You left me. You know you left me. And it wasn't just one day with the babysitter. We were in a different state, far away from my family. And you knew what you did to me. And now what you're doing to me is even sicker. So I'm coming on here and I'm telling the whole world. Okay? And my adopted family will see, and everybody will see. And you know what? I don't care anymore. And I'm not going to take this live down. I'm going to leave it up forever. Okay? Because this is going to be my first step towards my healing. And me trying to help all the people around me because I'm speaking up for them. I'm speaking up for them because they can't speak up for themselves. Because you know what? My boyfriend would be a rock star. He would be a rock star right now if we weren't living under the shadow of Satan. Okay? I watched it happen on our television sets. I can turn it on right now and it's all over the place. It's disgusting and it's degrading and it's making our country look horrible. It's making our country look horrible. The whole world thinks that America enjoys that. And we don't. We don't want Satan Club in our library. Do you understand that, Binghamton? We didn't want Satan Club in our library. Homer Brink didn't want it at the school either. And it's so funny. That sounds like such a hypocrisy. Okay? Look up what Homer Brink was. All right? Our school's names should be changed. If they're named after anything affiliated with Satan, it's time for change, okay? Okay? I don't know how it works. I don't have Okay, so when I was 14 years old, I was hanging out at a school. I was just following whoever was paying attention to me because that's how my life was. But there was this boy across the street on his bike, and I knew I had to go home, and he lived near me, so I was gonna ride the pegs of his bike. You remember that, guys, in the 80s, the pegs on the back of the bike? Well, he was gonna ride me home on his pegs. And so I ran into the street and I got hit by a car. And I went up into the air and it came back down on my head. And I was in the hospital for a month. I needed to learn everything all over again. I had a traumatic brain injury. But I've never been able to use it as an excuse. I never got any therapy or any treatment. Everybody just figured she's a strong one. She can handle this. Once or twice, some woman would come into my life and be like, oh, you need me to take you under your wing. My mother has come in and out of my life and pretended to want to be a mother, sending me things that, sending me things is not being a mom, okay? Calling to check up on me when I have an operation and making sure I'm okay. That's what moms do, And I'll tell you what, I haven't been the best mom myself, but from this week on, I know a lot of the things I'm going to change because I learned a lot about myself this week. Okay, because my mom told me that my memories are wrong and I didn't experience what I experienced and that she didn't abandon me in a different state, away from my family. Okay, I have letters proving it from my aunts and uncles and grandmothers, all writing amongst each other. Because my mother was a selfish young girl, and she cared about what she was doing and the guys she was hanging out with. And she left me at some sick house with some sick people, and I was smart enough at 5 years old to get the hell out of there. And that's what I did. I'd been there for almost a week. It had been days. Okay, it had been days, and I knew, okay, if my mother doesn't come for me by this time, I'm going to leave. Okay, and I'm five. So I did. It was the morning, and these sick bastards, and they were sick, and I don't need to go into the things that went on in this house, but they were sick, and they happened to me, and my mother tells me they didn't, and that's not right. But anyway, I was 5. And you know what? I took control of my own life at 5 years old. And I went into their closet and I took their daughter's prettiest dress and I put her dress on and I left and I went knocking on doors. And the first door I went to, they were scared. They were scared of the house that I had just left because these people were on drugs and they were just disgusting. Okay. They were disgusting, vile people. They should not have had children themselves. But there were so many men and women. It was men, okay? It was men in this house, and it was just disgusting, and it should not have existed. But it was in the 70s. 70s are a lot different. I mean, they're not, because now they're hiding the kids in the walls. I mean, I was lucky, okay? I was lucky. I could have ended up in a much worse place. I know this, okay? My adopted family, they're angels. Every single one of them is an angel. I'm sure of it. They don't know it, but each one, my brothers, my dad, my mom, my adopted family, they are angels. And God put angels into my life. I could have ended up with some, sicko that they passed on to do horrible things to that we all know is happening, but I didn't end up like that. By the time I was 9, I was okay. I was in a family, pretending to be in this family. I mean, I don't know, it pretend or not, it was legal. It was on paper. But, it's very difficult up in here and in here when you're dealing with it and nobody is saying, well, maybe we should talk about this, no, I was just supposed to adapt. I was supposed to adapt. And I did, But I was pregnant by 17, pregnant by 17 because I didn't know any better. It was in my DNA. It was in my genes. I thought that's what you do, I mean, nobody was telling me, go to school, get good grades, get a job. What do you want to be? I mean, Sort of, but no. Nobody was guiding me. They all assumed I would get married to some guy and, be happily ever after. But it didn't happen that way, because my husband was a bit immature and I picked, I don't mean it in any bad sense, but I was picking down at the time. I was picking down because he didn't treat me the way that I should have been treated. But he wasn't the father of my first baby anyway. So my first baby, I owe him a lot. I owe him a lot. He's incredible. Ty, you're incredible. You make me so proud. All three of my kids, they're angels. I swear God put angels in the bodies of the people that love me. And they don't even know they're angels. But I want to do something good for them, That's why I'm doing this. Because I'm breaking down. Because, the first couple times I'll cry and be an emotional wreck and get my footing. But this is what I want to do. I want to talk to the world. I want to talk to the world. I want to tell the world what's going on. And then Americans, listen, I'm real sorry about what's going on in Ukraine, guys. I really, 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 really am. I'm so sorry of all the things going on with you guys. It's fucking awful because you know what? I have a friend who lived there. And I don't even know if she's still alive. That's how messed up it is. But you know what? American taxpayers, okay? Me going to work at Dunkin' Donuts every day. We don't have anything to do with that. That's a bunch of crimes. A small faction of people in our country who are traitors, okay, are creating all of this mess. And if you look at it, it's really just a small faction of people. And as a whole society, not just Americans, but the whole world, there's so many more of us. We are the sleeping giant, okay? We are the sleeping giant. We are what they're afraid of. But we got to connect, because we connect. There's something that happens and we all connect. And once that happens, they're so screwed and they're so scared of that. They're so scared of it. But in the meantime, I want to come on here and just keep talking. I can't afford therapy, and I wanted to be Megyn Kelly. She was my idol, I thought, oh my God, if I could be a newscaster, that would be fantastic. I would go to work every day. I would be so proud of myself. And I can read a script, I can read a script really well, but I mean, getting on here is a whole different world because I don't have a script. I mean, I can write the script, but just today and at this point, I just wanted to come from my heart. And my community, there's a lot of people in my community. I have a little over 800 people in my community. I want a lot of you to know you've been so supportive of me over the years, just so many of you. And it's just 800 people is a lot of people. I know about people have hundreds and thousands of people, but I'm just some bum. 800 people is a lot of people to be interested in what I have to say. When I was in first grade, I wrote my book. I wrote a book, and I was so proud of it, but there was no one to show. I left it in the desk drawer in my art class, and I can't believe I'm crying to the world. Anyway, this book, I left it in the desk in my art class, and the art teacher found it, and she called my adopted mom, and she was like, Michelle left this thing here, but I think you should see it. And so my art teacher took it, and I don't know what she did with it, but she made it into a hard copy, but I don't ever know what happened to it because I got kicked out of that house when I was, I don't know, I think I was 14, right after I got hit by the car. I really started acting out really bad. Just started doing dumb things, hanging out with the wrong people, not wanting to go back to the house at night. I really had no identity. I really just started in the last few years forming an identity. You're 52. It's not too late. You're 42. It's a good time to make a family. Absolutely. 42 is a perfect time to make a family because you're able to be attentive to your kids' needs. And when you're in your 20s, it's a different ballgame. 42, if I was a parent at 42, my kids would be perfect. But It all has to do with, partners too, partners, who your partner is. A lot of people are just breeding to be breeding. And I admit I was one of those people, just breeding to be breeding. What a stupid, stupid thing. But then I also come from the generation that, we literally had classes where we spent 2 hours just listening to Planned Parenthood tell us about abortion. Literally 2 hours. 2 hours. We'd have these like seminars, and Planned Parenthood would come in and, they'd tell us how wonderful abortion is, and that, it's really important to use prophylactics. I wasn't even having sex, but we were getting introduced to all this stuff. So they were priming us up. They were priming us up to accept the fact that abortion is the new birth control. This is the way to do things. And, screwed up minds is what they were doing. They knew what they were doing, and I know what they were doing now. Gen X, we were the biggest beta testing generation ever. We did it all. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. We broke in your computers. We broke in your telephones. We broke out of your stupid water beds and into the memory foam. Gen X, we're the ones who know what's going on. And Gen X knows, because it's hard not to know. We lived through it. We lived through the black and white, then to color TV. How weird is that? I mean, we were watching black and white TV 45 years ago, and now here I am talking to Australia from a little flat piece of metal. Pretty amazing. But the craziest thing about it is I am convinced that this technology is not new. It is not new at all. It wasn't new. It was around a long time ago. It's not new. They want us to think it's new. It's just not. It's not. Nothing new under the sun is how it goes, guys. We're being played so bad. Like, whatever's happening is so interesting. But, I want to say this. God wants a lot of people not to know the truth. He wants them to stay innocent. He wants their minds to be untarnished. He wants them to have untarnished minds. So there are a lot of people that we are not supposed to tell the truth to. They're the ones who are like, nah, boo, boo, I don't want to hear it. If they don't want to hear it and you try to tell them again and they don't want to hear it, then chances are they are not designed to absorb the information. They were made not to know. And we're not supposed to force it on them. They're just not supposed to know. We're in a different level of the experience. So, and I learned that, like, I know it sounds probably corny, but I feel like God talks to me, everybody feels that way. I think you all feel like God talks to you, right? Well, God talks to me a lot. It's why I made it to 50. It's why I walked out of that house when I was 5 years old, because what was going on with me was not safe or healthy or good for my future. It was going to give me PTSD for all of the rest of my days, and then put me in a position where I'm like living a double life, because I had all this stuff bottled up inside that I only just started talking about 2-3 days ago. I've tried to talk to people about it. Like I came on YouTube years ago. I wanted people to interview me, because I did. I went through CPS in Broward County. Broward County took me. I tried to contact the CPS worker, and she acted really weird. Okay. I know for a fact that my adopted family, they're victims too, because I know that they came off a lot of money. I don't know where the money went, what they were paying for, but they paid a lot of money. And, they got friendly and chubby with my caseworker. So, but I don't understand why she didn't want to talk to me, In fact, she blocked me on Facebook. Why? I reached out to her. Well, part of it is because, there's stuff that I don't know because I was 5. And, regardless of what my mom wants to believe, the things that happened to me did happen to me. I will say this. The things that happened to me didn't go far enough yet that I was completely violated. But I was expeditionist to it. Is that what you call it? I was exposed to very sadistic, sick things in this house, and the things that they were doing to their own kids. And I was just that I think that they were afraid enough of my mom and the people that she hung out with that they didn't 100% put their physical hands on me, but close enough, because the things that they did do and show me and it messes up a little mind, it messes up a little mind. Like, this isn't right. Little kids shouldn't be exposed to this. What you're doing to your kids, that's not right. That's not right. So, well, like I was telling you, I went and I knocked on the next door, and they opened the door. They were scared. They're like, "Oh no, we don't know where your mom is. You better go, move on, go, get out of here. Don't be here. We don't want them coming over here." So next, I went to this little girl that her dad. I know her dad was a fisherman because he was scaling fish, and I went and knocked on her door. And her family was a little strange. They were a little rednecky kind of. Excuse me, I don't mean that bad by, but they were such nice people. Anyway, they took me in their house and they sort of like hid me for a few minutes to try to figure out what they were going to do with me. And they called the bar that my mom supposedly worked at, and nobody answered. Nobody was there. It was 9:00 in the morning. So they got scared too, though. They sent me away too. So I didn't know where to go. I just remember, hopping along. It's Florida. It's the daytime. It's, semi-nice out. So I walked down to the road, and there is a little old lady who sells fruits at a little fruit stand. And I'll never forget her, the little old lady in the fruit stand. So the old lady in the fruit stand, I told her what was happening. I told her I can't go back there. I'm scared of them. And I told her they're going to hurt me, and they were getting ready to hurt me, and they're sleeping now, and they were on a lot of drugs, and they were drinking all night, and they were doing these things, and I'm scared that they're going to kill me or something or hurt me very badly. So she too called the bar that she thought my mom worked at. Nobody was there. So she called the police, because she didn't have any alternative. I could not go back to that house, and nobody could get in touch with my mom. And I would not be safe if I had gone back to that house. I had been there long enough. Like, you remember when those girls that you left me with brought me to that party that you were at? It was dark. I think it was a Halloween party, actually. But you were like, "Oh, no, you can't be here. You have to go back." You're just a couple blocks away. You remember when me and the little boy walked up on the highway and their dog got hit by the car and they blamed me? You remember all that? Mom, you left me with those people for a way longer than you're willing to admit. And until you do, it's just going to be as it is, because calling me a liar is not healthy. It's not healthy for me, and it's not healthy for you. And so, like I told you, I'm taking it to the world. I wanted to write it in a book, but I don't have the vernacular and the patience, and I have it going. I'm trying, but it's not going very well, because I jump all over the place, just like I've been doing in here, I went from Hillary Clinton to crying about my childhood, so. And I am auditioning for you guys right now. If I do my hair and do my makeup and get rid of my glasses, which I really don't want to do right now. Actually, maybe I should, but then I really can't see. Well, I can't see anything. I got to put them back on because it's so blurry. I'm losing my eyesight. Anyway, like, you guys, I don't know why it makes me so angry to watch Meghan Markle. I know that she's one of their puppets, and they planted her over there, and they were hoping that she could seduce that older one. But, he has got it. He's charmed by his wife. She's a gorgeous woman, and she is perfect for him. And so he wasn't about to stray. And Meghan, I know your type. I did all of that. I might not have been doing it with princes, but all women do that crap. I'm sorry, guys. I had to do that. I didn't mean to do that. So unprofessional. And when I'm doing my news show or whatever we decide, whatever you guys help me decide I'm going to talk about or whatever, I'll just do this every night, I get enough people following me, and I make them pay me, just for you guys to listen to me. And I don't care, okay? I'm at the point where I don't care to tell the rest of you Americans that I'm having a really hard time. I made it to 50 without any help. I never had food stamps or asked for anybody to pay my rent, or I have always done everything myself. And I've always brought along whoever needed help when I was doing it. So I've always had, a little household. My husband is dead. My husband died in 2019. We were, I don't even want to talk about him. I don't want to talk about him. Yeah, no, I'm a widow. I'm a widow. I told you. I have a boyfriend right now. He makes guitar picks. We're artists. But yeah, my husband, the father of my children, died by mistake because he was poisoned. Okay? He was hanging out, doing whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay? He was poisoned. They're all being poisoned. If there is fentanyl or what is the other one? Trank. That stuff. If that stuff is in the drugs, it's poisoned. Okay? It's intentional. You're trying to kill the drug addicts. Okay? But the problem with the thing is the drug addicts are not like drug addicts used to be. Okay? We used to have junkies, and I get it. I get it. They're zombies. They're breaking into your houses. They're stealing all the money out of your cars. They're shoplifting. I get it. But do you guys get that they were made that way? It took a long, it didn't take a long time at all. It took 7 years. I watched it. It took 7 years. 7 years of the giving away the Vicodin and Oxycontin. They were giving out where I live. I don't know about where you guys are, but where I live, they were giving it out as samples. Boxes of it. Boxes and boxes. I can't even tell you how much Vicodin that my doctor gave me. Hundreds and thousands of tablets, okay, for free. They wanted us hooked. It was an agenda. And most people didn't have it in them to fight it. Most, your brother died from fentanyl, yeah. I mean, I think every family's been touched by it. That is chemical warfare. Like, we're not even fighting our own war. Like, every time they're like, oh, we're going to send $4 billion to the Ukraine. First of all, we all know that is not going to the people like you and me in the Ukraine. The people in the Ukraine, like you and me, are like you and me. Okay? Now, I have a friend who is over there. And a lot of the things they're showing us are not true. You can find people on YouTube that are in Ukraine, okay? You got to always go to the root of things. You can't just decide that everything you're being told is true. Because a lot of what happens on TV is made for TV. All of it. All of it. I'm not kidding. Every last bit of it. It's made for TV, okay? I'm sorry, guys. So I should finish anyway. How I end up at the World Trade Centers. So the CPS worker came. The lady in the fruit stand hid me, and she hid me behind her counter. And a very cool dude pulled up in a VW, a yellow VW bus, and like Volkswagen yellow, like my name. It took him a little coaxing because, you don't go with strangers. And I knew that already. Like, I was taught that. I was a New York kid. I was a New Yorker. At home, I was good. I had my grandma and my family. And, my mom, she took me from that. And I feel like she took it in me intentionally. I don't know what her agenda was. But why didn't you just leave me with Carla? Why did you have to take me out of there? Why did you have to take me with these? Like, why did we have to go traipsing around like we did? Why did you leave me? Okay? You answer me that. Why? You don't have an answer. You know why? Because I don't have an answer for the things that went on with Tyler. Because we're stupid and young and we made dumb choices. But the problem that I have is the fact that you will not say that I am entitled to my experience. And that you will not accept that you left me with people you shouldn't have. And I can't talk to you about it. You don't want to listen to me. You want to call me a liar and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about and you have it all on paper. Well, you know what? I have it here and I have it here. And I went through it and you weren't there. So you can take your papers and you can shove them up your ass. And I don't care what the FBI said. The FBI had an agenda because I was being trafficked. Okay? CPS, I'm sorry, but they were making money off of kids. They still are today. It's the only explanation that they would chase you down in New York and beat you up for your papers, make your face look like that. why I don't have a birth certificate. When I went into the Social Security Administration and tried to get my Social Security number, I couldn't figure out who I was because there's so many of me. There was too many of me. I had to get rid of them. Okay? There's a lot of fishy business that went on. Okay? So for what you did to me today is my last straw. So I got on here. Okay? I said that I wanted to talk about my job adventures, but I really wanted to get on here and I just wanted to reach out. Okay, I wanted to reach out because I don't want to stay bubbled in because that's it. I'm bubbled in. I don't want to be bubbled in anymore. And I want to be a newscaster, okay? I want to be James O'Keefe. I want to go do investigative journalism, you know? I want to do all that stuff and nobody gave me any opportunities. I was never good enough for anything. In junior high school, I tried out for junior high school. The teachers were awful to me. Just everybody. Junior high was the most awful experience in my life. Okay, I was so discriminated against. I don't know why everybody treated me the way they did, but they just treated me like an ugly little disgusting peon. Like I had no right to be there, and I was just lucky enough to sit in that classroom, and that's just disgusting. I mean, fortunately, as I got older, you know, like the punk rocker and rocker type metalheads, they took me in. But, you know, I was never really like connected. They had this one and that one, and that's fine. That was all fine. At least they accepted me. My biggest problem was my adopted parents. You know, as angel and lovely as they are, they probably should not have adopted me because they were not equipped. They had their own kids that they had to focus on, and I didn't get any therapy or you know, nobody talked to me. Like I literally went from this weird god awful situation into foster home and foster home and foster home, then into my adopted family. And once I got in there, it was like I wasn't allowed to have a life before that. It was like, okay, your life starts here, let's go. Act like none of that happened. We don't talk about that. You know, and if I even tried to talk about anything, I felt like I was stepping on people's toes and hurting them, and I had no business. So little abandoned Michelle had to stay back there and just stay there, Michelle. And this other one has to just move forward and deal with it and be whatever we let you be. I'm tired of that. I want to be something too. I want to make a difference too. I want to speak out for all of my loved ones that don't have the ability to do it anymore. I see what's going on, and I want it to stop. I want the people who owe us all to pay, okay? HUD came here, and they gave my sister-in-law and our grandmother, my husband's family, they gave them a mortgage, and it was an awesome, perfect mortgage, or so it seemed, okay? Because here we are 25 years later, or 20 years later, over 20 years later, we're being evicted for taxes. Okay. Now listen, I alone paid at least $50,000 into that house. Okay. Just me alone. And I know we definitely paid for that house 3 times over. Okay. We paid for that house 3 times over. So when the depression, the economic depression happened in 2008, because it certainly did, you know, all that stuff that went down. And when we lost our house, they were just stealing them. Okay. All those banks that got bailed out with our tax money turned around and stole all our houses that they mortgaged to us. And then I find out they never even put our family's names on the mortgage. We don't even know whose name was on that damn mortgage we were paying. We're just living there. Okay, the paperwork wasn't filled out right. They knew exactly what they were doing. What that is called is a Ponzi scheme. Okay, and it's just prolific all across the country. It's like they set up hub, low, leave. They set up mortgage, go, leave. And you know, so they did it to all of us, and they did it on purpose so that we could be as we are right now. I'm practically homeless, surrounded by stuff, and I just am so tired. I'm just tired. You're gonna buy it cash. Yeah, it's the best way to do it because then they can't take it back. But the thing is you have to also make sure about property tax, because property tax you always have to pay property tax. Like there's no stopping paying property tax. That's where they have, which taxes are illegal anyway. Like we are not, it says in our constitution that we are not liable for taxes. Taxes is an agreed upon thing. So, it's gotten totally out of control. Like we work for like this agenda that isn't even real because it's not American, and it's not what my grandparents that were in the military that fought in the first war and the second war. They didn't fight those wars for you and I to be living like we're living right now.
It amazes me. I'm really, really proud of them.
No, I'm glad you suggested that we come here.
Yeah.
If I could just get you to come this meeting in Santa Fe.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what? My boss is starting to wonder why I keep volunteering.
I'm sorry, guys.
I really like
Claire.
spending time with you.
Thank you so much. You? My brother died from fentanyl. You went cold turkey? Whoa, wow! I'm really proud of you. That's incredible. Because I'll tell you what, I've never done fentanyl. I imagine that it's highly addictive because I've watched what it does to people. And it's very painful. I mean, coming off of any drugs, it's very, very, very painful, and people don't get it. They think that they're doing that for fun. They're in pain. They are dying, and I am quite sure, in fact, I know for a fact that there are all kinds of treatments out here that can help people, but they don't want to help people. They want people, I call it groups and hoops. They want to rob your insurance. Okay. I'm watching it happen. Okay. I'm watching somebody's insurance. I'm watching what they're doing to the insurance. Okay. It's all just another Ponzi scheme. America, we are being so bamboozled in every single direction so they can rob us all blind. They want us all out on the street. They want us all penniless out on the street so that we have to come to them and beg for them. And you know what? I'd rather just eat too much Tylenol and go to bed because I will not comply. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Damn, I can't see past that. I have to, I'm going to do this. I don't know what that means. Oh, okay, cool. If you pay property taxes, exactly. I mean, if I didn't have kids, I would leave this country. I hate to say that. I hate to say that, but I do have kids. So you know what? I'm going to stay and fight for the state that I was born in. These are all mine. All mine. Every one of them. I'm really proud of that. Where I live, nobody's got any teeth. It's crazy. 50-year-old teeth. What do you think? Pretty good, right? I did all right. I was able to maintain my teeth, have a clean driver's license, and graduate from high school. Oh, that's something else I want to talk to you guys about. Okay, did you guys go to college? Okay. So I went to a community college, but my husband was cheating on me. It was just all this craziness, and I was going to be a cop. Okay. I wanted to be a corrections officer, police officer, like beat cop. Really. I just wanted to be a cop. I would love to still be a cop, but I'm 50 years old, and I believe the cutoff I read was 47, and so that's not an option anymore. But if there's any place in the world that would hire me to be a cop, I will cut my hair or do whatever I have to do. That was my dream. I dreamed of being a police officer, and once I got pregnant with once I got pregnant with my son, it was like, oh, you can't do that. It's not safe. New York's bad. You can't do that. So, and I just had all this drama going on in my head, and, and I was still in that transitioning from little girl to womanhood phase and listening to everybody. So I dropped out of school. And then when I was 30, on my 30th birthday, I decided, you know what? I'm not dealing with my husband anymore. He was lying, cheating, everything, you name it. He did it. I mean, it was awful. And, he and I loved him. You know, we were on different pages. I understand him. You know, he had his issues. We weren't really compatible like that. But, you know, before the kids, we stayed married. And he lived with me several times when he was in town or out of town or whatever. And we were very, very close. And there's, you know, a good chance we would have gotten old together. In fact, we would have gotten old together. We'd have been there for each other till the end of time. And we were, you know, I mean, we didn't live together. We sometimes would be in other relationships and whatnot. But, you know, we understood each other, very unconventional. But we were very Gen X, upstate New Yorkers. You know, there's a lot of people like with my story. So, I lost my train of thought. When you know it, it's because I just got a text message saying that I need to do something. But yeah, so anyway, it was talking about being a cop. So anyway, so I didn't become a police officer, and about when I was 40. When I was 40 years old, I enrolled for Ashford University Online College. And let me tell you, I took that shit serious. I was at school all day, every day. I didn't celebrate Christmas, my birthday. I mean, I didn't do anything. All I did was go to school. I had my GPA was 3.8. And the reason why it came down, because I had this awful professor who just didn't understand. My father-in-law was in the hospital and he was dying, and I missed some time, and so it really just screwed up my GPA. But nonetheless, I maintained a 3.8 GPA all the way to the end. I was in Ashford for almost 5 years. My father-in-law starts dying, and I didn't take any time off. No holidays, no vacations, no days off. I wanted to get my college degree as soon as possible. So I had to take one day off, not even a sick day. I was crazy. My family hated it. It's like, come out of the office. But I didn't, okay? So anyway, so I did all my Ashford work, did great. I had to take some time off. When I took time off, Ashford lost its accreditation, locked me out of my system, told me that I couldn't come back to school unless I paid $1,500 to them right now to re-enroll. And it was just crazy because they were trying to grab some money at the end is what they were doing, because they got their accreditation taken away. And so they could no longer take FAFSA or any of the federally funded grantings. So, I mean, I'm sure there is some stuff they're still eligible for, you know, money out there, but they weren't eligible for the stuff I got. So basically, they used that. It was another Ponzi scheme, and I bet you there's billions of us out here that they took advantage of, that they used me as a money marker, because that was 50 grand. 50 grand that went to that freaking school, and, you know, and I didn't even get a piece of paper out of it. Freaking online college. I'm telling you right now, if you're going to online college, you make sure that you got a printer and ink in it, and you print out everything that is important to prove that you're doing it. Because, I mean, I have my laptop still, but I took some crazy pictures in 2012. 2012, I started having all these really weird paranormal experiences. I started taking photographs of the craziest things. I could tell you stories for hours. Hey, but one night I have a friend who's an IT guy, and we wanted to do something, or I needed more room or whatnot. And he got in there, and they erased my whole hard drive, got rid of everything that was in there, which would include all of my Ashford stuff, so I could prove my case. So now here I am stuck with this student loan. I didn't get anything out of it. And, you know, I know a lot of people say that, and I'm sure there are a lot of people like me, but the people like me, our particular experience, that's really a crime. And in a real just world, that wouldn't happen. They wouldn't let that happen. Okay, FAFSA wouldn't let that happen. FAFSA would make them pay them back, not me, because they stole the money. And then if you go even deeper, Bridgepoint owned the school, and they were the ones making all of the academia. You know, they were making all the textbooks. So I was paying them for the textbooks. They were charging thousands of dollars for the textbooks. Everything was rolled into one. And then, so if you get deeper, it was connected. You go for the Fortune 500. All those same people own the place. So all the money is going into the same 5 pockets. And you guys all know what I'm talking about. And all you got to do is do a little digging. Find out. Connected the American Federal Corrections Corporations of America. Connected. All of it. Connected. Bunch of bullshit. We're all a bunch of slaves. I'm tired of it. So It's why I want a job that I want to do. I want to start getting paid the way I should be, so that I can live comfortably, so I can take a vacation. You know what? I've never been able to afford to take myself on vacation. Just myself, much less my kids. Never even been able to afford to take my kids out of town. That's how disgusting it is. And I'm not, it's just, a lot of it was because I was afraid to take chances. Because I always get rejected. Because I've never been good enough. Well, you know what? I don't care anymore. I really love you guys that have been sitting in here this whole time with me. We've been up here for an hour and 44 minutes. I gotta figure out a way to make this chat bigger, because I really am losing my eyesight, and I don't have the money to see an optometrist at the moment. So I have to figure out a way to make these things bigger. And it's just my friends. The thing is it does, even if you buy land out in the country, you still got to pay taxes anywhere in the United States, Hawaii, Alaska, Guam, okay, Puerto Rico, any of those places. They're under the direct of the American government. If you own a piece of property, they want their taxes. It's just how it works. You own property, they own a piece of it, and they want a piece. I don't know how it worked out, but it's just the way it worked out. I don't have any guns. I wish I did. I don't know how to do that stuff. I'm a child in here. I've been pretending for years. I'm just a little kid in here. And this whole world is brand new to me. After this whole explosion with my mom, which I'm really glad, because I've been keeping all that stuff bottled up in me for 45 years. And I've been letting her get away with it, not talk about it, pretend like it never happened. And, if I try to talk about little things, she'd be like, oh, that didn't happen. You are lying. That is not true. That didn't happen. Sometimes make me feel like I didn't go looking for them. And that, you know what? So when I was 14, my adopted parents, they got too much of me. They kicked me out. They didn't really kick me out, but they kicked me out. And I said, you know what? You kicked me out, then I'm leaving. Which they didn't mean it. So, it took a little while, but they sent the police after me 6 months later or whatnot. But anyway, they kicked me out. And in doing so, I went hunting for my biological family. Okay. And really, at this point, I almost feel as if it's a mistake, because they didn't deserve it. They don't deserve it. And it's very sad, but they don't deserve it. Stuff is not parenting, okay? Money is not parenting. And they never supported me or anything. They never encouraged my education. They were never there when I broke anything or I delivered my babies. I had nobody. Nobody was there for me. When I delivered my first child, I was in a hospital room in a cold, sterile environment. Nobody was allowed in. They treated me like a cow, like I was delivering a cow. Then they took the baby away and they wouldn't let me see it. And I wasn't giving it up. So it was just the whole thing. They were so seedy and sneaky, and just the way things, like today, if I could restart my life today, I would never have any of my kids in a hospital, because I think that some of our problems stem from some of the stuff that goes on there, and just what's going on in this generation is just terrible. My grandparents that are not alive anymore, they're rolling over in their grave because this isn't what they worked on and built for us. That's not what they built for us, this stuff, guys. Oh, bless you, Claire. I love you. You guys are some of my favorite people from Shan's community. I'm serious. Literally saved my life. Ready to, just cannot take it. And I go over there and So what? I can't afford to live. So what? I can't afford to eat. It's all gonna come. It's all gonna come for us. It's gonna come for us. Yes, I know. It's true. It's true. There's something weird going on. I don't know why we're here and why we're all experiencing. I hate looking like my grandmother. Why do I gotta look like my grandmother so much? And when I take my glasses off, I look even worse. Oh my God. And the thing is, I don't look like my actual grandmother. My grandmother looks much different than me. But I mean, I actually look like my husband's grandmother. Like, just like her. Lucy Leadbelly, yeah. Letby, Lucy Letby, piece of shit. Thank God we didn't have our babies there, right? Yeah, oh God.
Could you try Patrick?
Do you think it's really going to come to that? You know what's really scary to me, and I was telling my boyfriend the other night, we have to lock all the doors because these people in New York City, they just got I mean, if they walked all the way from Venezuela, they're not going to have any freaking problem walking upstate. And oh my God, just can I tell you, I had some people in my car the other day, and they were very scared to disclose where they were from. Eventually, I got them, because we're riding for like 20 minutes. Eventually, I got them to admit that they were from Honduras, but they were like not allowed to tell us that. Like, what? What do you mean you're not allowed to tell us? They're not supposed to disclose stuff. I was told that they were, a lot of them are like practicing military, so. And they were doing that in the South of America. So who knows what they were doing. But all these people who come here, they want to be Americans too. Okay, you guys, remember that. That is something that is very important. And it is not their fault. Okay, so they're not all criminals. Okay, they didn't just dump out the prisons of serial killers and send them. These people are people who are coming here for a better life. And no, they didn't leave their wives and mothers and sisters. They intend on coming here and making a better life, and then either bringing them back or going back or sending money back. Like, that's a lot of times what they do is they come here, they get a job, and then they send money home because our money was worth a lot more. And not lately, but it's just, there's no jobs for any of them. There's no jobs. There's no jobs. So they're going to come upstate and be on welfare. And what's welfare run? It's lifetime of welfare is what, 3 to 5 years, and then you tap it all out and you get nothing. You guys know, I mean, I don't know where you guys are from, but in the UK, everybody gets a universal credit. Okay, that's ass backwards for us. So instead of paying it, they're getting it. We're paying it. So all of our universal credit is going right into which is just our taxes, basically, you guys. It's going into our politicians' pockets. It's really weird. Like, do you really think that Nancy Pelosi has any clue about the stock market or trading on the stock market? No, she pays somebody to do that for her. And I mean, if I had enough money, I'd be paying somebody to do that shit for me too. But I don't have enough money to freaking wipe my butt. It is all so shady. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. All that stuff. And the craziest thing is, I mean, I had when I was younger, I was really focused on the fact of Vince Foster. That's not fair what happened to Vince Foster. Everybody needs to know what happened to Vince Foster, because if that didn't happen, then this would have happened and that would have happened. And, a lot of people know. I mean, I don't know if you guys know who Vince Foster is, but Vince Foster was Bill Clinton's chief of staff, but he also came up with him from Arkansas. Okay, so I got something for you. I really love my mom, but I want her to understand that until she accepts my truth and what happened to me, I've already forgiven her. Like I told her, I don't hold it against you. She just refuses to admit it happened. And I don't understand. Like that generation, they have like this like block or something. But until once she stops devaluing me, then, but I love her. Like I don't hate anyone. I don't even hate Hillary Clinton. I really wish that all those people with that power would like get saved and turn around against the machine and be like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm telling what I did and I'm going to face my consequences. I wish one of them would do that. Like, I don't want to do this to the American people anymore. I don't want to ruin it. I love our flag. I love the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You know what? I love that. You know why? And we're red and yellow, black and white. We are precious in his sight. You guys know that? It's important. Our unity in America, we were to bring your tired, your poor, your humbled masses yearning to be free. That stuff is true. But we are unified. And it's not about pigment. We are a diversified unification. Okay. And New York State used to be the melting pot for that. Okay. So anybody screaming about racism in New York, you're fucking crazy. Okay. This is where everybody came to get away from it. All right. And what happens is the Republicans and the Democrats, they switch hats. Whenever it's convenient, they switch hats. They're both doing the same thing. Planned Parenthood wants all of us to kill our babies. You know why? They like the blood. They like the organs they can make from it. They want you to kill your babies. Sorry. I can get a little crazy. But I'm serious, it doesn't matter if you're white or black or Portuguese or Hispanic or, Lieutenant Brown. If you're not in the club, you're not in the club. They want what you have that benefits them, and the rest of it can just go to hell. Although that will go to heaven and the rest of it will go to hell with them. It's not about freedom. It's about personal indemnity. It's about my inalienable rights. It's not even about freedom. You're born into a world that is providing for us. It's inalienable rights. I mean, way beyond the Constitution and any paperwork. It's about the physicality. It's about humanization. It's not just about their paper rules us. Fuck their papers. Okay. When I was born, I didn't choose this. I did not be born out of choice. I mean, maybe I did. I don't know what's on the other side. And I look damn forward to it. I won't lie to you. But I didn't choose this. Being born into a collective that is bunch of people saying there's this hierarchy and I rule you and you're my slave. That's a bunch of bullshit. Okay. And the only reason it works is because people comply. If you're going to get in line, they're going to tell you to do what the next thing is. Stop getting in line. And then they won't have anyone to tell what to do to. And then they'll realize that the only people they have it to do to is themselves, and they'll have to shove it up their ass. The very first rule, okay, when the Geneva Convention recognizes, because listen, the wheels of justice turn. Sometimes they take decades, but they turn, and they will. And when they do, and when the Geneva Code, they realize that they have broken some of the most heinous worldwide crimes against humanity, the first thing that should happen is every single one of them that did not take it should have to take it. Okay? If you don't take it, you can't be a senator anymore. If you don't take it, you're not going to sit in your seat in Congress anymore. Okay? And we want proof that you took it and not taking it on TV like Joe Biden. That bullshit. That is bullshit. We want physical proof. And the thing is we're to a point where they couldn't prove it anyway. Even if they did it right in front of us on TV, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it unless they keeled over and died. It's the only way. That nurse, what was her name? Sarah, whatever. The nurse that passed out after she got it on national TV. Like you said, they're falling out right in front of us on television. My mother is a wicked narcissist. She's a wicked narcissist, and she will gaslight me forever. And that's what I decided. And I've been trying to explain that to her for several months. Like, I've been sending her this stuff, like this Abraham Hicks stuff. I love Abraham Hicks. If you haven't listened to Abraham Hicks, listen to Abraham Hicks. But okay, it's 8:11. I got to go at 8:30, you guys. But I want to come back. I'm going to come back. I'm just going to come back till I'm tired. Okay, so, but Abraham Hicks tells us that we are creating our universes. And to an extent, I know that stuff is true. But only to an extent. Only to an extent. Because I've been trying to be an artist, but because I can't organize things and I can't think correctly, and there's certain steps I don't know how to take, and I don't have a partner who knows how to take those steps either. I am handicapped, in some ways. And, people are like, oh, just list your art on Etsy. But then that means that I have to do all of these other steps. And everything is so frustrating, confusing for me. They made it so confusing that I just don't know where to start. I have a question. You cannot own a gun if you have somebody in the house that was a convicted felon, right? You cannot. That's why I've never had a gun. I mean, at this moment I don't, but I have. And so I've just never had a gun. But that's right? If there's a convicted felon in the house, you're not allowed to have a gun. Like the person who is not a convicted felon, can they have a gun as long as it's kept in a safe that the other person can't get to? Do you guys know? I got a couple questions that I wanted to ask you guys that are a little smarter than I am. But I see at least there's 4 of you who will help me be Megyn Kelly. But like I would like to get on here like Blair did and talk about Meghan Markle and how absolutely absurdly ridiculous everything she's pulling is, and how we don't accept that. We are not royal commoners. We are not a body of the Commonwealth. And you also, if you are married to a royal prince of a society and a country that, although we are at peace with now, we fought a war against for our independence, you're not going to come over here and then pick up a seat in politics now. It doesn't work that way. If it worked that way, it would have happened way back when, what's her name there? Grace Kelly, okay? It would have happened then, all right? Okay, and I don't care what's her face there, Gloria Steinbeck, Gloria Steinman, or all of those women. I don't care what they have planned. Meghan Markle is not going to be the president of the United States. It's absolutely disgusting, and she's not equipped, and she is so narcissistic and selfish, and what she did to the Queen and Prince of England in the last 2 years of their lives is just reflective of what she will do to the country. So that is a great big fat N-O. Sorry. No more. I'm tired of Meghan Markle all over the tabloids when I go to the grocery store. She says a whole lot about how generic our country has become.
He says he doesn't have the money and I can't pay it back. So I'm willing to try something else.
Yeah, it was totally nonviolent. It was for drugs. It was for LSD. Look, I'm a kid of the 70s and 80s. When times were real, when all this generic bullshit wasn't happening, where every single rock star on MTV isn't going from their personal identity into this weird morphed satanic ritual. It's disgusting. And I watched it happen over the course of the last 20 years. It happened. It wasn't slow either. It was very fast. It happened very fast. But you know what else I learned is God is real. And their attempt to kickstart the Antichrist is going to poop right in their face. And I happen to know that every single weapon that they are going to use and have used against us is already being used against them. It's like, when they shoot off a cannon, it's going to pop right back in their faces. And that's what's happening. It happens every day. It's happening all the time. They can't stop karma. It's just the funniest thing, But in the meantime, it is putting all of us in a really tight position, a lot of us. With all of our factories, we make nothing. Our innovation is gone. With all of our innovations gone, with all of our factories gone, everything we built during the Industrial Revolution is turned into a great big pile of garbage. All that stuff is not good. It's not good. And we have to do something about it. And I don't know what we can do about it. But for starters, we have to get all the money that was supposed to be invested into those places and that came out of those places back so they can be either refurbished and knocked down and all the poisonous chemicals are removed correctly and nobody's hurt by it. And we don't need a depopulation, okay? Folks, this earth is so huge and overpopulation is a big fat lie. If you're believing that stuff, you need to read. You need to do a little of your own research because deep overpopulation is a scare tactic. I mean, we might be congested in some places because human beings like to get together. So we are congested in a lot of places. So that gives your brain the ability to accept this notion that the earth is overpopulated. But we're not even we're in a tiny itty bitty fraction of the earth. It is such a huge place. And there are so many other places that we can be. All right. We are not overpopulated. And if that goes against the friggin' whatever the rules, me saying that we're not overpopulated, well, stick it up your ass. Because I know it's true. I really appreciate you telling me that. I really do. Because I can't push the heart. Can't move it. Because it was part of the reason why I haven't gotten a gun. But there's a gun shop quite close to me. And I have to go with my heart, and for the longest time, my heart has told me you're not allowed to have a gun. Not allowed to have a gun.
With regard to Bob, Mr. Wire, is there anything you wish to say? Yes, Your Honor. Sharon Baker, close personal friend of Mr. Welsh, is here to offer herself as personal custodian.
There. I'm going to go in a minute or two. I don't know if we is still in here. We know that.
I would add that he is a pillar of this community. There's absolutely no evidence to indicate that he would be a danger to the community, and it's for these reasons that I would respectfully request a bond in reasonable amount. Thank you, Your Honor.
So I'm going to make this YouTube really big, and the next time I come on, I am not going to be a crying baby. Okay? I'm not going to be a crying baby. And I made a couple of you guys who I have been following forever moderators for next time that I come in here. And just because I don't understand that, but I think it's cool. And I like it when people make me a moderator. So I couldn't find my other. There was 4 of you guys that I wanted to make moderators. There he is. But there's God Rules too, and I can't find him. And he was in here somewhere. And I know that he left, but you guys, they already are, man. That thing about the fentanyl and it being a chemical warfare, this is very serious, very serious. It's like the national emergency. Like it is literally a national emergency. We should be running into those cities, putting those people, giving them baths and cleaning up their sores and giving them the medicine that they need so they're not in pain anymore. So they're not out there like, oh, God. First of all, let me tell you something. Living around something like that, it is so frustrating. It is so frustrating. The frustration comes from being afraid the person's going to die. That's all it is. They don't get that, though. Not while they're living in it. So I got to go get dog food, and I think you guys, Earth is amazing, Claire. You know what? If it wasn't for Earth, I wouldn't be here. I'm dead serious. So like, there's so many places that you can hide. Like if you're homeless, there's so many places that you can go, and just the Earth will take care of you. And we're not really here. This is all we're being tested or something. I don't know. This big joke on us. It's not real. None of this is real. It's just to test us. We're being tested. No, I'm honored. I am so flattered that you guys stayed here with me for so long on the card. Yeah, exactly. I have a big mouth. They're gonna have a hard time. I'm going to stick to doing this every day, just like I promised. And I really appreciate you guys that came in here to see me tonight. And please, 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 if you're on TikTok, follow me. Mika Matina on TikTok. The same thing, I think. I mean, I think I connected them. But I'm really, really, really dying to get to 1,000 followers. I have 607, and I built that in a couple of weeks. And I just would really like to get to 1,000 so I can go live on there, because going live on TikTok is a whole new ballgame. So anyway, I'm going to get going, you guys. I love you very much. Claire, thank you so much. Modus operandi, I am glad to see you as usual. And I don't know who else is left. I don't think anybody else is left, although I could be wrong. It's so weird the way that this does this. I couldn't even see some of your messages. I'm sorry, guys. So I think I can go back and read these later and go over them. And I just want to say goodnight to you guys, or farewell for now. I'm going to go get my dog some food, and I love you. And I will look better next time. All right. Thank you so much. Claire, I'll see you again later. I'll see you guys later. If you're still around, I will come back on later after I get back, just because this is fun. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye. Tee-hee.